So we expect this to operate is sort of like a combination of maybe the Uber and Airbnb model. So if you own the car, you can add or subtract it to the Tesla network, and Tesla would take 25 or 30% of the revenue. And then in places where there aren't enough people sharing their cars, we would just have dedicated Tesla vehicles. So when you use the car, we'll show you our ride-sharing app. So you'll be able to summon the car from the parking lot, get in, and go for a drive. It's really simple. So you just take the same Tesla app that you currently have. We'll just update the app and add a summon Tesla.
This was a scene from Elon Musk on the Autonomous Investor Day. Now, this was one of the most important days for Tesla investors of last year. And not only that, it was also the most important day for other car manufacturers to see what's coming next, what is coming up. Even it was a huge message to Uber as well, because the robotaxi and autonomous will disrupt their product as well. And why is it so important? Because in the end, the transportation is in a kind of revolution and innovation phase where it all changed how we transport. It's the future. And because it's the future that we are talking about today, I put my very futuristic spacesuit type pullover on and let's roll. So let's a little bit talk about the future, how the future would look like. So we are going into two directions, and two technologies work hand in hand. Now we have the electric vehicle that has the battery that will last in a couple of years, a couple of 100,000 miles as a lifetime. And also the recharging gets better and better. And more about this in the Battery Day, Investor Day by Tesla in the coming up months. We will really looking forward to this date where Tesla will talk about their new technology. However, the battery then powers a powertrain, which is then electric motors. And electric motors are something very fascinating because they actually never break, because the movement is magnetic and therefore there's not like very much moving parts in them, and you have directly the acceleration of this power because the power translation is pretty fast. Now, all these things is without oil change. As I said, moving parts is piece of the history in a couple of years, for many of years, and for almost everyone, because with more and more volume, the prices will go down. This is the right law, that with improving or doubling of the volume, the cost reduction or the price is going significantly down. Now, one important thing is also the autonomous. The autonomous is a very important part for the future of transportation, because everything will move by its own without a driver or someone else in charge. So everything that the decisions that the computers will do, they will do based on algorithm, and this algorithm get better and better. And Tesla has the pole position in this as well, because they are actually using cameras as eyes of the computer. They produce their own chip, which is so powerful, much powerful any other chip on the market, better than Nvidia and other car companies. And they have so many miles, and with every Tesla car out there, with every driven mile with this Tesla, this data bank gets fed with real-time situation, and teams are reviewing it, programmers are reviewing it and improving the algorithm. And until today, so as of today, the Tesla Autopilot is 8.8 times safer than the human driver. Now, this is a fact, this is stats, this is non-negotiable fact, which will be in front of governments and institutions to make a decision that autonomous actually is safer. And I'm quoting here someone very important, whom I will introduce in the next part of this video, because he is saying that next year or the year after, regulators will approve self-driving cars, full self-driving cars, and therefore we going into new era. So you now know the technology. Now let's dive into the future. Now, this video idea came obviously up throughout these views that you're giving me every single day, so I'm very thankful about that. Make sure to thumb up this video as well for the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe if you are new to this video and new to this channel. Now, let's talk about Tony Seba. Tony Seba is someone who specialized in seeing evolutions of technology and disruption of evolution very, very precisely. So he established and he openly discussed ideas about electric cars and when will happen what. And he was very precise. He actually, just by 1 year difference to his prediction, he really was on point when the first $35,000 electric vehicle will come out just many years ago. So you can see that, you know, Tesla bringing him the $35,000 car for his predictions, but actually this guy is very smart, and I want to bring some key ideas here to this video because this is the future of Tesla, and if you're a Tesla investor or want to invest in Tesla, this is very important to know. So he's saying that the future of transport will be on the move. Now, what does it mean? Now we will have electric cars that will be very, very reliable as well as long lasting, and on the other side they will be self-driving. So this means that actually you just need a car. If you're using it as for transportation, then you will need the car just to go to work, from work go to meetings, from meetings maybe go home or to shopping malls, and. So you can imagine that if the price per mile drops significantly, then you will have like a subscription of $100 with Tesla. And this is where Elon Musk, in the intro, or out of today's video's intro, is there, where he's saying, you know, this is the future. You will have an app to get cars. They will drive by themselves. This is actually, the other owners are owning the car and they are actually at work, and the car, while they are at work, the car is working for them as well and picking up people and driving them around like Uber. And therefore Tesla is basically smashing the Uber product, because Uber will never can get this 5 cent per mile price. This is only possible if you are connected somewhere to the hardware as well as to the software side as well. And Uber just have the software side, which of course is very valuable. Actually, they made $12.5 billion in 2019 on the ride sharing business, plus other things that are connected to the ride sharing. But however, you can see how big the market is just for ride sharing. Now imagine all the people that are using a car to drive to work, to as a utility, as a service, and this is all about transportation as a service, TAAS. So this is a keyword that you should remember because it will be the future. Now think about the following. Imagine you have a subscription, you use like the Tesla app and going to work and some other things. Now imagine also that the transportation gets so cheap that this subscription can work for ill people, less mobility people, retired people that have to go on public transportations or other transportation modes. So you can see how much more people can be transported, and while they're transported, the experience inside the transportation itself will be totally changed. And that's why Tesla is investing into this entertainment inside the car. So they are the first one that brought games into the cars, the first one that brought Netflix to the cars, and so on and so forth. So you can really do a lot already with your Tesla while enjoying the drive, and therefore this will be the future of electric and also autonomous and transportation per se. Now, Tony Seba is actually going so far that he believes that, for example, coffee shops like Starbucks will have their own car fleets that will allow people to go on and be driven by these cars while purchasing, let's say, a cup of coffee for $5. Because actually, if you're considering how much they paying rent and having just one place, they can be basically everywhere, and you can enjoy, if you want to buy a coffee anyway, you buy it inside the car and you're enjoying a free ride everywhere into the city. And therefore this cars or this transportation will be a win-win situation for everybody. Now he's also saying the economy will earn more money because the people will work while they are driving, so they have much more work to accomplish during the drive. And when you're usually driving with your ICE vehicles, then you are half an hour, 1 hour behind the wheel and just, you know, actually wasting this time not doing anything else beside that, you know. It's because you want to go from A to B as soon as possible, and therefore this is so interesting how much new potential will go out there. And there's two other things that I want to put from my side on top of that. I believe also that people will move out of the cities, because in the cities the rent is very high. Now to be close to your office, maybe you have to look for offices inside the city, and this is very important. That's why you're driving 1.5 hours to your job, which is very time consuming. Now you can actually tell your boss, hey, you know what, I'm having now the subscription of Tesla for $100, and I will come 1 hour later to the office, and I will go 1 hour earlier from the office because I'm also working during my ride and come to the office. So you can see that people will also live out of the city, so the property prices should drop because the properties outside the cities will be more interesting or usable as well, and therefore, you know, the density of people interested to living in the city, to living next to their offices, will be much smaller. Moreover, if the cars get more and more safer, there is basically no insurance for cars needed at one point of time, because the rate of accidents with autonomous vehicle will be actually zero at some point, or 0.10%, you know. So it's very unlikely to have an accident. No traffic as well, because the cars will adjust themselves, they will speak to each other. With 5G, everything of that, you know, 5G, electric cars, autopilot, all of this is already so near to us, and we always underestimate how fast technology come to our daily lives. If you just think about that, 20 years ago, we barely had mobile phones with internet on them, and now what we can do with our phones, this is really crazy. And the first smartphone was just released with around 2006, 2007 with the iPhone, and this is really remarkable what we can do with our iPhones here as well. So you can see how technology moves faster than we think, faster than we can imagine. And with the fast growing of Tesla, I believe that Tesla can be one of the most important companies of our lifetime. I think there's just a couple of big revolutions that happening around us in a few generations. So I think it was with the computer, and then after the computer it definitely was the internet. After the internet it was the mobile phone, or with the mobile phone was at the same time with computers, because it's basically a computer now, and the car will be a running or driving computer. And also we can see that, you know, the next big disruption could potentially happen in transportation, and therefore it's great to be invested and further looking long term on the future. And this is what you can do with Tesla. Therefore, think about it to become an investor. Obviously you have to know this by your totally own. This is not a recommendation, and I'm really looking forward to see you tomorrow again. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. I see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching.